Welcome to another episode of Bussin with the Boys. I am your host, Billy Earl Compton III. My co-host, Taylor Lewan, he is in the middle of training camp. His number one priority, his pride and joy. He cancels all of social media. He is logged off for the entire year because his sole focus is on ball and not letting any energy, whether it be positive, negative, cheers, boos, doesn't fucking matter. The boy is off the grid for the entire season. However, he will be joining us. Obviously not today in this moment because, again, training camp scheduling is a little hit and miss. But he will still be joining the boys during the season every Monday during the intro, which I will get into what our scheduling is going to look like this football season. But he will still be on the intros, our nice 20 to 30-minute intros that we usually do each and every week. Taylor will be a part of that. You just won't see him on social media. Before we get into the episode, this beautiful brand of Bussin' with the Boys, its presenting sponsor is a big dog, and you guys know him, the Chevy Silverado. If you are looking to make your summer story a strong one, like our boy Jack in the back, Jack in the back. Jack in the back could be a little segment with our boy Jack in the back, like your boy Jack in the back. Chevy Silverado can take you there, and that story will start as soon as you take the wheel. Like the boy Jack has, there is a challenge going on to where if he tweets Rich Eisen every day with a photo, you guys might know Rich Eisen from the Rich Eisen show with the NFL. He's with the NFL Network, right? Is that with the NFL Network, I believe? I hate that I'm butchering it if I am butchering it, but also I guess I don't care a whole lot because he didn't know who I was for the longest time. But as long as he tweets a photo of Rich Eisen, because we're trying to get Rich on the bus, as long as Jack in the back stays consistent each and every day with a photo of Rich Eisen until Rich comes on the bus, doesn't matter. We are on day what, Jack?
75.
We're on day 75 right now. It doesn't matter if it's day 78 or day 782. As long as Jack stays consistent throughout the entire time by posting a photo, he is going to earn himself a Chevy Silverado, possibly the Silverado ZR2 that was built to tame the trails as the most off-road ready Silverado ever created. And there are 8 more Silverado models to choose from to make sure that one fits your life and your lifestyle. The Silverado provides the strength and Chevy truck capability to handle whatever comes your way. With the Silverado, you have everything you need to not only write your own summer story like our boy Jack in the back, but also make it an unforgettably epic one. Take command of your summer with the Chevy Silverado. Go to Chevy.com to learn more about your Chevy Silverado. And also our friends at Freeland Chevy provided the boys. That is our dealership of choice in the greater Nashville area. If you are looking for a Chevy and you live in the greater Nashville area, head over to our boys at Freeland Chevy. They'll take care of you. They're also going to throw in a free trailer hitch. I was emailing back and forth with the boys this morning, and I did tell them if we're gonna up our game, we need to be able to guarantee that you're gonna throw in a free trailer hitch. So if you go over there, let them know you heard it from the boy himself, and then you guys will probably get a free trailer hitch with your purchase of a Chevy Silverado. Now, some house cleaning. We got some good shit on the horizon, boys. We're going to get into our trip of Green Bay, talk about our home opener, our tailgate against the Giants, how we are going to 2 episodes a week for the next 4 weeks, Taylor update, hiring people, the Nebraska trip coming up in September. We're going to get into all that stuff. But first, we have a merch drop that is dropping today. As you guys listen to my voice, the merch drop is happening today. The back to school summer drop, which has all of your back to school essentials. A couple things I got right here next to me. But first, your essentials that you need going back to school. Listen up right now, especially if you're in college, as long as you're, of age for some of these games. But we are releasing a beer pong table. We are releasing a cornhole set branded Bussin' with the Boys. Everything you need at your tailgate, your backyard, your weekends, your downtime from studying for school, because we know you guys are going to study hard, but we got what you need. Beer pong table branded Bussin', cornhole set branded Bussin'. We also are dropping hats. The hat you are seeing me wear right now, that's going to be dropped. Our main, let me get out there on this. Our main fan bases that buy from Bussin' with the Boys, our biggest ones, is Nebraska. I want to shout them out first and foremost because, the boy, he bleeds red. But also our homegrown Tennessee Titans. That is where our origin story was created through the Titans fans, the two-tone blue. We got these bad boys in Oilers colors, and they fuck They absolutely fuck. And then also you're seeing me wear it. The silver and black, the Raiders last year really jumped up on all of the sales. So those three teams are getting the hats first. Now, if you are a team that wants to rep your boys and wants to see us drop hats and merchandise for you guys, you have to be loud and fucking proud on social media, because think of me as a vessel that's going to create you guys merch. I want to make merch for all the boys. I took a lot of heat last year for making Bengals merch, but of course, your boy, I see the bigger picture versus everybody else who lives in a box and just wants us to do Titans gear. I took a lot of heat, but essentially, I want to make gear for everybody out there. To do so, you have to be loud on social media, because when I ask the question, hey, can we, guys, with enough retweets, enough engagement on something like this, and I drop a mock up that our boy Garrett has created, that is going to prove that we need to sell that. Because when I go and stand on the table for Barstool and pound the fist to make it for this brand, that fan base, that is what's going to be my proof that we will be able to sell in that market. So that is the name of the game on merchandise. Now, to get to my favorite thing that we will be dropping this year. Last year, I sported this around absolutely everywhere. Real dingy. Just you guys, if Blosh, you can zoom in a little bit on this. People can see the wear and tear and the grittiness of this jacket, just because we pretty much had it painted on. I wore this jacket around everywhere, and everywhere I went, people, they wouldn't even know about Bussin' with the Boys, and they would be like, "Bro, that jacket is awesome." I love when somebody who's working at whatever store they're working at takes a moment to say, "Yo, I like that jacket. Where'd you get it from?" And I unfortunately would have to say this is a one-off and it's not for sale. But we got so much traction, just boots on the ground last year, that we were begging Barstool to make us a bomber jacket. This is what it's called, right? It's called a bomber jacket. Now, I am excited to tell you guys that we have gotten the green light to make these bomber jackets. They're going to be in red, and navy blue is the first wave. So Titans and Huskers, you guys are up first. We're getting these made for you guys. Now, if you can zoom in on this kind of quality, Blossy, this stitch, we got it stitched. This is a starter jacket, a collaboration with Starter. So they're warm, they're comfortable, they're absolutely everything you fucking need in a bomber jacket, dude. And we finally made them. Huge patch on the back. If you're just listening and not seeing this visual, it's, if you're not for the boys, you're against them, a massive patch on the back. We got the boys on the front, stitched on the front. It's all stitching. Vintage looking starter jacket. We got them in red and navy blue. That is our back to school release. We got the hats, we got the bombers, we got the beer pong tables, and we got the cornhole. Before we move forward, if you're also like, I was thinking about this on the way over, we have we're gonna have a big round of applause right here. But in the last several months, since we've been doing the Bussin' Spring Tour and everything else, we have essentially doubled our audience. That is huge. That's massive. With that, I was thinking, like, maybe there's some people who tune in that are newer to the show. And if you guys aren't familiar with Bussin' with the Boys, if you're here for the interview, you'll probably just need to fast forward just skip to like the 30-minute mark or something, and you might get lucky by getting on the interview if you're here for the particular interview. If you're here to join the Bussin' with the Boys fan base, become a tier 1. You start off as a tier 3, you make your way up to a tier 2, to a tier 1, all of that. Essentially what the boys do, myself and Taylor, we bring the locker room to life with some good old-fashioned locker room talk, some banter, some humor, some storytelling with our guests, peeling the onion back, a great mix of light and heavy, I guess you could say. But if you're joining us, please take a moment to subscribe to the boys and follow us on Apple and Spotify. Make sure you download the episode each and every week. And then if you're watching on YouTube, take a moment to leave a comment and subscribe to the show. The reason we would love for you to leave a comment, not only like giving us your opinion on what you're seeing on the show right now, like if you just want to say, like, I see Will is my dad every week. Whoever the kid is who says Will's my dad. Is it Tyler Olson? Tyler Olson, shout out the boy Tyler Olson, all the free shout outs to the boy. I see his comment, Will is my dad, each and every week. But if you leave a comment, you help us get into that algorithm. You help us get into that game of social media and the universe of YouTube by commenting and helping us get in the algorithm. The same as subscribing and following with us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Now, with that news, and thank you for joining us, we had like 4 podcasts that we did in Green Bay. We've done a few people in town who came to the bus. We're going to be doing more at the end of August. It's kind of like in the training camp theme of being able to get some of the boys on the bus. Hopefully a couple coaches as well. We've gotten a couple coaches. But since we have so much in the library, we're going to start releasing 2 episodes for the next 4 weeks. So starting September 16th, that is next week, it will change on the graphic because Garrett's the man and he will make sure that's updated on YouTube. But all of our info, all of our stuff for the next 4 weeks, similar to like we did in the summer, we're going to be going 2 episodes. So starting August 16th, running through September 8th. We will be doing 2 a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's huge news for us because we got on LaFleur, Bisaccia, Aaron Rodgers, Bakhtiari, Rob Tunyon helped co-host, AJ Dillon, Preston Smith, and then a lot of the guys that you haven't seen yet who have came through Nashville and got on the bus. We're going to start rolling out those 2 a week. So the boys are back to 2 a week for the next 4 weeks. And then when we get in the season, the boys will keep it light to let you guys in on something. We are going to be standing up another segment. We will not talk about that yet, but it's, as Pat McAfee would say, hashtag up to something season. The boys are going to be doing something pretty fun during the season. On top of the traveling and the tailgates we'll be doing to let you guys know, staying on the theme of housekeeping, house cleaning, whatever it is. September 3rd, we're going to Nebraska. It's official. The boys are going to fucking Nebraska. We're tailgating. We're hopefully going to get a nice interview from one of the boys out there. And we're going to be enjoying the game as Nebraska beats the living shit out of North Dakota to start their season at 2-0. I'm letting you know right now, take the money line. Nebraska is winning the first 2 weeks of the season against Northwestern out in Dublin, and then in week 2 against North Dakota. But we'll be out there September 3rd, Labor Day weekend, maybe Thursday night or Friday all day, all the way through Sunday. We'll be tailgating. Find the boys. We'll have all that information on our social medias at Bussin WTB. And then also to give you guys an update on when our first tailgate is for the Titans football season. The home opener against the Giants, that is September 11th. We will be at Acme Feed and Seed for the home opener. We'll be wheeling and dealing Whistle Pig Whiskey. We'll be doing some giveaways. We'll be doing some socials. We got to get some good crowd socials in there this year. Like, we got to throw some parties. We got to have a good season at our Acme Feed and Seed tailgates. But for the Titans fans out there that want to join us, and even if you're from New York and you're coming in to watch the game or you're a fan of the Giants, come hang with the boys. We'll be at Acme Feed and Seed on September 11th. And that'll be probably 2 hours prior to the game, prior to kickoff. Did our shit go out, Jack?
I don't know.
I've been doing a lot of rambling, but it was kind of to save.
Not on the screen?
No, it's not on the screen.
Those were still.
What else? What was next on the house cleaning?
After tailgate.
Yeah, after tailgate.
Just catching up Green Bay.
So the boys went to Green Bay. Hell of a time. You guys can check out. I said we've interviewed Aaron Rodgers. As a matter of fact, as you listen to today, the boys at Part of My Taker in the middle of Grit Week, they had a phenomenal interview with Aaron Rodgers. I thought it was really funny. Big Cat PFT. Those boys are fucking hilarious. However, they were in their theme of Grit Week. And we see them sit in nice comfort of AC, cameras getting set up for them, nice polos. They stayed clean, not sweaty the entire time. It made me think that the boys were pretty fucking gritty in Green Bay. There was no access to AC. If we did, it was way too loud. If we plugged in too many wires at once, it wouldn't work. The little thing on the outlet the light would go red, so nothing would work. But yeah, we were breaking Lambo. How we couldn't access all the power, I have no clue. But we were sweating the entire time. From 8 a.m. until what was it, 3 or 4 p.m. We're at Green Bay. No food in us the entire time, because we got pretty full the night before by eating the cheese curds and the Asian cuisine at the casino. We had a great time. We lost some money, but it's all good. But we had no food that entire day until after we got done at like 4 p.m. And I was drinking on coffee in the morning, which had me like, caffeine can give me anxiety. And when it was just us out there, because we're still in the stage of like how these guys get in here. We're not like, we're walking in, all these dudes are coming in. We're not professional looking. Like, you turn the camera around, like, that's pretty much what all of us were wearing walking in. Like, yeah, that's our bus right there. But the anxiety, getting LaFleur and having 5 interviews in one day and knowing that I didn't, it's hard to do a lot of research on everybody. Then we had the 20-minute time crunch with Aaron Rodgers, which gave me a lot of anxiety. The boys grinded. We sweated our ass off the entire time. We got better. We got closer as a unit. We're going to be rooting for Green Bay, I think, this season, especially on the NFC East or NFC side of everything. They're in the NFC what? North? I don't even know why I was saying NFC East. I think that's just the old Washington Commander and the boy. But a lot of good shit coming out of Green Bay. It's the reason we're going to go to 2 a week because we had a lot of cool interviews. I'm really fired up for you guys to listen to the LaFleur and Bisaccia one. That's probably the one I'm fired up most for. Preston Smith, AJ Dillon, and Bakhtiari. Phenomenal locker room banter talk right there. That's the locker room I feel like coming to life. Some good would you rathers. Second thinker taking the S. Some good would you rathers. Some good tier talk. A lot of fun. A lot of laughs. Aaron, like within the time crunch of 20 minutes, it was fucking. It was tough figuring out what I wanted to be in that episode because I just listened to the Aubrey Marcus podcast. Rob Tunyon was co-hosting with me, his first time ever co-hosting, but I wasn't able to talk to him beforehand because he's obviously in training camp and getting ready for the season. You have Aaron on that has 18 years, 17 years of playing in the league. And so you're trying to find your way through like, all right, hopefully he doesn't talk too long on this one. Should I ask this question? Should I ask that question? But a very successful trip. We went to family night. We got treated up in the press box. What's Matt's last name? Do we know? Starts with an S.
Beat writer?
The beat writer. And I hate that I'm butchering that because he always gives us love on all of like anything Green Bay, asking Bisaccia, LaFleur if they're going to bring in playoff Willie for year 10. Matt Schneidman. Shout out to boy Matt Schneidman. And we got treated well, man. It was a good time. Would you guys concur? Would you guys agree with all that? We had a lot of fun. Garrett and I, we had the door. Ooh, that could be a shout out. No free shot. We had the door in between the rooms where we got to kind of, hang out. The boy cashed out on you guys late at night in the jacuzzi life. But would you guys agree that it was a great time?
Yeah, phenomenal time. Wouldn't want to spend too much time in Green Bay outside of football season.
No doubt.
It's like a place you'd maybe want to kill yourself. But we talked about it on Twitter. The population in Green Bay is about 104,000. The capacity at Lambeau Field is about 80,000. So, I mean, we like to think basically the entire town is at the game every single Sunday. They had about 50 or 60,000 people there just watching a practice. I mean, they fucking die for ball in Lambeau. There's not much else to die for there, but they die for ball. And they took good care of us. We had a good time.
Yeah, and you said it too, like the entire town. Like it is a town vibe. Like the main street you grew up on in the small town, like that is what is right outside of Lambeau Field. You think you're like driving through, you're hitting a couple stoplights, you're seeing, you're seeing where people live and you're kind of looking around. The next thing you know, Lambeau's right in front of you. Like it's a cool place, but you're right. It's not somewhere you'd want to live, I don't think, all year round. No slight at everybody who lives in Green Bay, but at the same time, like that was fucking tough. Or it would be fucking tough to live there for a long amount of time. Update with the boy Taylor. He wanted me to send you his best wishes coming out of training camp. We talk and it's like, you can just tell every time we get on the phone, we want to talk about so much, but we know we have like probably an allotted amount of time, or like, man, come over to my house. Let's do this. Let's do that. We just know we can't do it because he's got the training camp stuff going on. I got stuff with the boys. Like we kind of just miss each other on his off day. Then he wants to hang out. Like he wanted to hang out because for the Baltimore, like around the Baltimore game, one of his off days. But I was like, we're going on a family vacation. But you can just tell like the boy, he misses being on the bus. He misses everybody out there listening. He wanted me to give you his best. He would have been fired up at Green Bay. I think we would have had a lot of fun with me, him, Aaron, everybody who came on the bus. The boy has been grinding and sticking to his routine, waking up at 5:30 in the morning, working out beforehand. He claims, and I believe him. I can tell it by the commitment in his voice and the passion in his voice. When he's been at the hotel, he's out by 8:00. He's getting like, what is that? Like 10 hours, almost 10 hours of sleep if you add it all up and do it right. But he's clicking, bro. He says he hasn't been eating the extra cookies laying around. He's like dialed in and he feels really good. As far to say, I would go as far to say as not to put words in his mouth or anything else, but maybe his best start to a camp yet. The boy's fired up. He's in very good spirits. He misses us dearly. He can't wait to get back on. And by the way, I think you guys got that voice message. He's going to do the intro for next week. Your boy's going to Hawaii for a family vacation. Me, the wife, and our little girl, Rue, doing a little family vacation until the 16th of August. So from the 10th to 16th, your boy is going to be out being a little island boy. And Taylor's going to be doing the intro for next week. And so, but all to say, like, Taylor loves and misses you. And he said big hugs, tiny kisses. And yeah, hiring 2 new people. The search is getting The search is getting dwindled down for everybody who has searched back from me. That's a good thing. Where you guys are on a short list. I went through probably over 300 emails and resumes and shit. I have you guys filtered in from content creators and social media people. We're adding people because we have a small but strong team of 4. One contractor in Blas Hernandez, and the other 3 who are full-time boys with Bussin with the Boys. We got to add for this season because, again, if we're standing up another segment, another show, doing the twice a week, traveling tailgates, hosting tailgates, living on social media 24/7 during football season, we need to add a little bit more. We need to add a little bit more to the roster because if not, you guys are going to get burnt out. There's going to be a lot of friction. You guys are going to resent me probably quite a bit throughout the year because I sometimes I just react and I don't think about anything you guys do. So yeah, I think it'll be good. We add some people to the team. That's all the house cleaning. Catching up. Let's get into our favorite segment of the week. Again, if you guys are tuned in, we appreciate you guys for fucking tuning in. Subscribe. Take a second. Subscribe to the boys on all the platforms. And if you're looking for the interview, fast forward another 5 minutes and you'll probably be at the interview with Darren Waller. Guys, before we get into this ad read, make sure if you were here strictly for the D-Wall episode, the Darren Waller episode, fast forward about 32 minutes and you're going to be right there to the 30 or 32 minute mark. But we interrupt this episode to bring you the Game Time app. Game Time is a ticketing app that makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows, and they guarantee the lowest price. All the boys in the back, especially Jack in the back, he is going to the Titans game tomorrow on Thursday against Baltimore. Out in Baltimore. He's traveling out in Baltimore, and he's already copped his tickets on the Game Time app. The best NFL stadium to play. We were just in Lambeau. If you guys, everybody, Lambeau, that's everybody Green Bay fans that is tuning into these episodes now from the Rob Tunyon one last week. If you guys want to find your best prices, your lowest prices guaranteed, go to the Game Time app. The biggest last minute price drops can be found on the seats you thought you could never buy. Download the Game Time app, go to the account tab, create a login, and redeem code BUSSIN, BUSSIN, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download Game Time, last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Back to the episode. This is our shout out, no free shout out segment of the week. It is one of our favorite fucking segments of the week that we have stayed consistent on. And Blasi, our guy in the back, he's going to start us off. I hope you spent a lot of time thinking about this because shout out, no free shout out of the week is fucking awesome.
All right, my shout out of the week this week. You guys ever find money in your pocket and stuff like that?
Ooh,
like that's such a good feeling, right?
Yeah.
Well, I had an experience very similar to that, but it was different. So I hadn't been to my house in a while.
Sweet. That's not what it is. But here's what.
Exactly. Very similar. Very similar. So I went to my house and I checked my mail. I opened the mailbox. I saw a letter, and this letter usually puts fear in people's eyes, puts fear in the heart. It's from the IRS. My heart immediately dropped, and I was like, do I even really want to open this letter? I was like, well, I kind of have to, because if I don't, then I'll probably be in big trouble. So I opened the letter, and I pulled it out and unexpectedly received a check from the IRS of $167. I don't know what it was from. I ended up calling. They said I overpaid in taxes somehow and received a check back. So I was hype about it. Unexpected. So shout out, no free shout outs to receiving an unexpected payday.
That's a good one, Blasi. Have you spent that money yet? Like, that's something where you have so much high energy, you figure out, what am I doing tonight?
I thought about it, but I haven't cashed it yet. I wish I could say I
love
did,
it.
But no, I haven't.
And are we, like, as Blas was saying that, I feel like are we in the, like, age of, you can almost say mail isn't the best way to get a hold of people now? Like, to where if you don't see it, you're just like, it's mail. You prefer mail? Hey, but you know what I mean? Like, if he throws it away, if it was something bad, then one day you're at court and you're just thinking, like, I mean, you guys tried to hit me up on mail. Like, I got email, I got social media, my Instagram tag. Yeah, text me. Y'all got my number. Anyway. Yeah. Come on, man. Mail me for that shit. Jack, what do you got, big dog?
So for my shout out, no free shout out of the week, it is pretty obvious in my mind. It's going to the boys in two-tone blue this Thursday. Even though it's preseason, This Thursday, the Titans are taking on the Baltimore Ravens in the first game of
Rivalry
preseason.
game.
Rivalry game. And I heard on the radio the Baltimore Ravens have not lost a preseason game in 5 years. So they're 20 deep, 20-0 in preseason. Mark my fucking words, the Titans are taking that fucking trophy away from them. The boys in two-tone blue are coming back. We're so close. We're about a month from the actual season. What is it? Today is Monday the 8th. So we got almost 30 days till football is so fucking back. I'm just so juiced about it. I know everyone here is. We're going to get into a huge grind. We got a lot of work to do this season. And I mean, it's an uphill battle for us and the boys in blue. But man, I'm getting chills right now just thinking about that first Sunday, sitting on the couch, Twitter open for 11 hours straight. I mean, there's nothing better. The fall's coming. The weather's getting a little cooler.
No, it's not.
Shut up.
Hey, I know the excitement.
In my
You're getting a
head,
little-
though, it
yeah,
is.
you're
In my
getting a little
head,
ahead
it's
right now.
50 out right now. But really, it's 90. But yeah,
Quarantine, bro.
shout out to the boys in two-tone blue. That one's a free shout-out for me. I mean, I'll always give the
I mean,
Titans
it's
a free
not
shout-out.
free shout out. It's
Yeah.
a segment.
I mean, it's a free one every day of the week.
Reel in the emotion. I know you're
Twice
fired
on
up right
Sundays. So yes, to the boys in blue, the Ravens are fucked.
Hey, and there's no fucking doubt in my mind that whoever the Titans roll out as starters or who they're going to sit and play, whatnot, Vrabel is in there right now preaching that they're undefeated, that they've went 20 in a row, and that is a team key. No matter who's out on that field, them boys are going to be competing their ass off like it's the fucking Super Bowl. And we got to bring some old content out for social media. I already know my meme that's got to come out there. Good luck, though, to Lamar Jackson, new friend of mine, and we are more than acquaintances on social media. But time to whip that ass come Thursday. JP, yeah, Jack, great one. JP, you have banger week in and week out. People are out there. I see everybody out there commenting. I know it's your group chat that's getting on Twitter and doing it. Yeah.
Easy.
What do you got, JP?
Actually, it's something that happened between you and Garrett just a second ago, but I had heard it over.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to say over the weekend. I was going to be like, damn, you kiss and tell? God damn.
Nah, but it happened just a little bit ago, and it happened with me and I believe Preston. And it's my shout out, no free shout out is when you meet somebody for the first time and you immediately have just like fire dap, where the connection where you both like bring it in, come out. It's like, hey, that was kind of
the way we were in rhythm on hitting that middle finger to that little lock that we do. Sorry, I apologize for taking away.
No, you're good. But I was peeing, so I couldn't even see y'all, and I just heard it. And then I heard the ooh. I was like, hey.
Hey, that was a good one,
Yeah,
Garrett.
that's a shout out right there. So yeah, that's my shout out.
That's a good one. That's a solid one.
Hell yeah. To add on that, when you do pop, like dab somebody up and the pop is so loud and it echoes, that's true friendship. All right, my shout out, no free shout out of the week is when you're driving on the interstate. Maybe it's a road trip. You're driving, you might get a little hungry. You're checking the signs to see what kind of food's on the exit sign.
Talk to me.
And you're like, that sign wasn't really hitting it for me. Oh my God. That sign wasn't really doing it for me. Maybe one or two options.
Keep talking naughty, boy.
So you're like, damn, do I risk and push to the next exit? So my shout out, no free shout out, is taking that risk in the next exit sign, having endless options of food. Mostly bad for you, but there's hella options.
Didn't know if whether they go with clap or the snap. That was fire, bro. That was fire.
So true.
Hell yeah. I thought today, get in a good headspace and just have endless energy. So that's what made me want to hit that splits right there. Needless to say, I'm a little horny right now. Hey, I think I got a good one, boys. I shouldn't have started with that. I need to let it build up. But my shout out, no free shout out of the week, goes to true athleticism. As you get older and you can't play sports anymore in life, there are a couple things that you can do to test your athletic ability to see if you still have it. In my opinion, this is one of them. When you are in your garage and your car is sitting outside. You got the car out and you got to close that garage door. And you're sitting deep in your garage by the door and you think to yourself, all right, here's the fucking moment that I've been ready to know. Can I hit this garage door button and as it's closing, sprint out, hit the jump over the laser, not trip anything, and land on my 2 feet and stand there and watch that garage door go down the rest of the way and think I'm still that fucking dude? So my shout out, no free shout out of the week, goes to true athleticism, where you beat the garage door going down after you press the garage door button, you don't hit the laser, and you stand on your 2 feet. That is my shout out, no free shout out of the week. You do. Sometimes it's a little far. Like on mine, I'm coming up from like 3 stairs. There's 3 stairs. So I got to land, I got to jump down. You know how these knees can swell up now. And usually you're not warmed up, like you're not ready for it. And you're like, all right, do I still got it? And when you go over and you hit that little fucking, with that little bent over fucking, you laying, you're like, yeah, I still fucking got this shit, bro. All right, thanks for enjoying that segment with us. I hope you guys have as much fun as we do. We will now get into the Darren Waller podcast. The reason we held on to this one and dropped it this week, it's on the 11th, right? His 5-year, it's the 11th, right? Because I said the 10th. I think he corrected me to the 11th. So Darren's 5 years of sobriety is on the 11th. So we wanted to drop it this week. That's why we held on to it. This is an incredible podcast. If you guys didn't listen to my first one with Darren Waller, I did it in the January or February of 2020, I think. And it was just me and him one-on-one. He talked, we peeled the onion back with, you guys have heard his story. Probably, if you guys are tuning in for this podcast, you guys have heard the story about him basically trying to sabotage his way out of the league. He OD'd in a parking lot to where he woke up the next day, he had hit rock bottom because he was an addict, and did the 12-step program, relentlessly worked to get back in the league, was on practice squad, got noticed from the Raiders to pregame, just catching routes. And everybody was like, who the fuck is that guy? And they signed him the next week. He ends up playing that. He has a hell of a year, finishes out the year with the Raiders, has a hell of a year the next year, re-ups into a new contract. Basically, got to build his way into another opportunity. Fortunately, because opportunities are few and far in between, especially in the NFL. You don't have a lot of lives. And somebody who is in the 12-step program was in the drug program, would fail the drug test all the time. I think he said he's failed 100 drug tests, like over 100. It just doesn't happen a lot. And I think for D-Wall to come on here, share that story the first time around, go check out that episode. It's awesome. And you almost think what else can you continue to talk about him? And having this dude come in and sit, and we get other perspectives and gems that he was talking about. He got myself emotional because he asked me about my mother, which was a moment that we kind of sat here and shared. I always feel awkward when I get emotional. And shout out to my mom's. Her birthday is, without getting into that mode, her birthday is on the 13th this week. So shout out my mom's, who's looking down on the boys. But for Darren to come in and talk more on how he's doing now. He woke up at 6 a.m. just to let you guys know how he came into this podcast. He's one of the boys, and he was all about doing it. He woke up at 6 a.m. to take a boxing class. And then when was our pod? At 7? 8 in the morning. He comes over here at 8 in the morning to do the podcast before he has to do Tight End U day 3, right? Day 2 or day 3? One of those. Oh, yeah, Wednesday, and then day 1 was Thursday. Yeah, day 2 is Friday. And then to do Tight End U after that, I mean, shout out to him for giving us his time. And I would slip up and ask him, did you go out with the boys in Nashville, blah, 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 but you forget. Not that you forget, but it's just a question you just asked. It's easy to ask. Did you go out in Nashville? And he's like, no. He ends up seeking out somebody in the 12-step program that's in Nashville and is going and doing, what are they called? Those meetings, AA meetings, having an AA meeting here in Nashville with people that you probably met through social media, maybe. The dude is fucking all time. And I hope you guys enjoy this episode because it is a banger. Me personally, these are the ones that live on the whole Mount Busmore for me, because you really dive into what it's like for him, how he's continuing to stay consistent, continuing to keep, guard his energy and improve and progress and get better, not only as a football player, but as a human being. So without further ado, Shout out to boy D Wall. Yeah, big hugs, tiny kisses. Enjoy this episode and make sure to subscribe. Did you box this morning?
Yeah.
Where?
Rumble Boxing's right around the corner. In the hotel. I walked there.
Did you like? All right, so we got Darren Waller back.
Yo.
And I'm pretty fired up for it. And if everybody watch right now, because hey, we've grown a little bit since you've been on.
Y'all was big back then, wasn't y'all?
I mean, you helped make us bigger. That episode, if everybody listening and watching right now, like go check it. If you haven't checked out the first episode with Darren Waller, go check it out. It was in what, 2020? 2020?
Yeah.
Probably around the springtime. That was an incredible episode. Still on the Mount Rushmore of pods, bro. The Mount Busmore. Everybody says it. The tier ones, the OGs, like. Anyway, that was a good one. But we got Darren back. He is in town for Tight End University. By the time you're listening to this, here, I'll save that little surprise. I'll save that little bit. But you're in town for Tight End University. You were up. You went through. You got in Wednesday. Thursday was a long day out in the sun. You were the sweatiest. You probably worked the hardest of all the tight ends. No disrespect to the tight ends, but you were drenched, like,
no question,
after the first period. So we'll talk about that. You're out there coaching. You're out there in the middle of the huddles. You're showing guys how to get better at their craft. You're also standing and listening to Greg Olson. We'll talk about him because I think he's a fucking stud when it comes to like teaching and being a sponge around that dude. Like the way he teaches, I think is incredible.
Right.
And now on Friday, you're up at 6 a.m. going to boxing, and then you got another camp day today as well. But why are you boxing at 6 in the morning?
I mean, I like boxing, and just the cardio of it, getting up early, moving around is something that's necessary for me, part of my routine. Yeah, I got back to my room. I was making a beat. They have like this little like stage amp, like Nashville kind of vibe thing.
Yeah,
I was making a beat
in
on
the
that.
room.
Yeah, so it's just like, I don't know, my morning routine. I just like to get my day going, get challenged early, and
so you're up that early every day.
Yeah, I usually try to wake up with the sunrise. Like I listen to you ever listen to Huberman Lab?
Nope.
Podcast. It's just like neuroscientist. One of my coaches put me onto, and he was talking about how to sleep better. You gotta like get your circadian rhythm going and like be outside and like getting natural sunlight. And it's, I don't know, but
so you'll step outside and everything.
Yeah, I'm trying to implement that into my routine so I'm not just staring at the ceiling at night.
Are you have you built a friendship at all with Amir Abdullah?
Yeah, Amir Abdullah is
he's like that.
Man. Yeah, he's
like that. He's all about all that stuff. He's been on the bus, but like that's my boy since college. But he's very much like waking up with the sunlight. I listened to your podcast on Pivot. Phenomenal episode, by the way, with those guys. But talking about how you went to Utah, like Amir goes on trips by himself.
Yeah,
with a recorder, like with the
Amir's dope. Yeah,
I got picked up by like a tornado. In man, where did he go this last offseason? Iceland. And there was like a snowstorm. He was out like early in the morning going out to get footage, and a snowstorm, like a little ice storm or snowstorm picked up, and this little tornado lifted him off the ground, and like he has it on film, but he's out in Iceland by himself, bro.
Hey, nah, I knew I loved Amir because he was he got to the team early this offseason, and I would see him doing like these caveman body movements. Like this is like after we run, after we work out, he's in there working like these movements. So I'm like, oh no, everybody's not doing those movements. And then it's like we got to practice, and I guess like the Patriot way, like they like doing all these like angle, like one-on-one tackling, like, and he is shaking people's souls out their body. Like,
you talking about where you run around the cone and then everybody's kind of meeting in the middle?
Just looking dangerous out there.
Juicy.
And then I ran into him at the pool one day, I guess where he stays at. And he was talking about how he was out in Joshua Tree filming something. And I was like, oh yeah, I fuck with Amir.
Bro, Amir's like that, man. That is my dude. And that's somebody, I feel like y'all would vibe for sure, especially if you're waking up trying to wake with the sunrise and everything else. So you got to Nashville and you just like look for a boxing class that's nearby and you're like, I'm going to just go do it, or do you know somebody?
So when I was out here last year, I went to, there's like a spin class cycle bar right next door. I like riding a bike, like Peloton type of stuff. And so I did that last year, and I was like, let me go do that. And then I saw Rumble Boxing was right there. So I was like, let me go do that.
So you're training, are you just kind of like, you do classes? Do you have like a certain regimen for you and yourself, and you have like a trainer? You know how guys have personal trainers.
Right.
Guys are big into like strength training and everything else. Like, how do you handle your like off seasons and your like training regimen?
Yeah, I got a guy back in Georgia that I do strength training with. C4 Performance, my boy Corey.
Shout out, no free shout outs, man.
But yeah, it's a lot of like, rotational power, like just like movements that translate to the field. And then I do like boxing classes there. I'll do Pilates, yoga, and hit the field. I just like to mix it up, keep me on my toes.
Who if the NFL, if like a lot of players, if there was like a boxing tournament, you like yourself?
I feel like doing things against people is different. I've never done that, so I can't really say. Like, I'm good on the mitts. I'm good with the combos. Like, I feel like I'm kind of crisp with that. But I feel like getting in front of somebody else, I don't even want to act like I can just hop in there. And
Have you sparred or anything?
No. I don't plan on it.
You don't plan on it? Like,
No.
when you're done, you don't plan on like it being like, what's his name? Frank Gore. You just have that itch. You just can't not compete. You know how Frank Gore
I'm
got in
not.
the boxing
Yeah,
ring?
no, I understand that. But for me, like, I know I won't have that itch.
How much longer do you see yourself playing?
I always tell myself like at least like one more contract, and then evaluate it from there, because it's just like
Yeah. When is your deal up after this year?
I have 2 more years left on my current deal, but no guaranteed money. So that's why it's like all the
Gotcha.
contract hoopla.
So, put another year under the belt. Next year could be a little nice for the boy.
We'll see, man. You never know.
Man, there's so many things like I want to dive in and talk about. I guess before we get too much into like what everybody loves talking to you about, like all the deep stuff, like your sobriety
Right.
and all that stuff, I do want to talk about like tight end you and how like I want you to speak on what you get out of it and like what you think of the overall event. Because I sat in as an honorary tight end yesterday in the meetings and stuff like that. And I was there interviewing guys at the hotel the day before. And I just think the way that they put that thing on, man, like I don't know if position groups are doing it like that.
Right.
But if position groups do, or guys like have an itch to put something on like that, they need to talk to George,
For
Travis,
sure.
and Greg, because, bro, gift suites, having staying in a nice hotel, having like the PT, Kairos, breath classes, yoga,
Sponsored by like household name brands.
yeah, Boys
like-
and Girls Club coming in with
Yeah, like
charity.
movie cameras out there yesterday.
Yes, bro.
Yeah.
This shit is wild. And like the camaraderie, like,
Yeah.
I don't know how them boys do it at nighttime, like in the evening, like after being in the sun all day long. And y'all are running around, but
Right.
so how do these guys like want to go out after that? But the way that they put it together and do it, and how structured and regimented it is, and how on point with the catering of food and all that, like, I think it's like top notch.
Yeah, I don't know how it could be any better. Like you said, all the stuff they give us. And being at Vanderbilt now, like they upped the facility, doubled the
Yeah.
amount of guys. But even when we're on the field, it didn't feel like it was double the amount of guys. The way they broke it up, it flowed naturally. Didn't feel like I was just sitting around or bored or anything.
There's 85 guys here.
Yeah, and there's like 40 last year.
That's nuts, man.
Right.
And it seems like everybody's having fun. Like I was talking to Foster, like what he liked so much about it yesterday on the field. And he's like, I enjoy so much because there's like no ego. Like everybody's coming in
Right.
here legit trying to learn from each other.
Right.
What's something you feel like you get out of it personally?
I just like seeing how guys move around, how they carry themselves. Just like what confidence looks like for them, just like the human side of them. So, and then also like picking up tips and stuff like that. Dallas Clark out there, but I just like the human side of guys and just see how they mentally approach things, how they stay present to the moment, and how they just like take things and apply it to their game, and how they learn. So I just
Were there questions or comments yesterday that had like sparked you, that like you gravitated towards more? Or like a couple of guys that maybe you heard speak or watched on the field that, sparked your interest to like, I want to know more about like what this guy does with his routine, or I want to pick his brain a little bit more like within this rock concept, technique, mental, whatever the case may be?
It was definitely Dallas Clark for sure. The relationship that he seemed to have with his quarterback. I was asking him about, how you go about navigating that, and, saying things without like feeling like you're stepping on somebody's toes, but really saying what you want to say and need to say at a particular time. Or Like, and he crafted like his own little red zone role. Like they were just kind of like throwing it to the goalpost over the middle of the field. Because like me, you know, there's a lot of times in the past couple years where I felt like I didn't have like there was like a clear defined attack in the red zone or like a plan for me specifically. I felt like it was just kind of like, what the fuck am I doing sometimes?
Yeah.
But now I kind of feel like that's something that's in place with Josh and developing just off of this offseason alone. So I was kind of asking him about how did your role in the red zone come about? Because that's a big thing. Like,
Yeah.
like for me, like there's no reason why my big ass shouldn't be, you know,
Oh yeah, bro. I'm with you
dominating
now.
in the red zone at
Yeah.
all times, you know? So
Yeah, because he spoke and one thing he did say, he's like, think of any great quarterback and you know, you really can't think of one without them having a great tight end.
right.
And he spoke on the relationship that like getting with your quarterback and everything else. How would you describe your and DC's relationship?
I don't think it could be any better, you know. It's a, you know, one where we talk like real life stuff or just like everyday
Yeah.
stuff and can joke, but then like on the field, it's like, you know, he wants me to do something different. He can tell me and know I won't get in my feelings. And then he'll be the first one to be like, oh man, I could have made that throw better, or, you know, oh, I'll get it up higher, or I'll get it there quicker. Like, so it's like one where we can share information and say something where the other one doesn't feel like we're attacking each other because we actually like each other and talk to each other, you know?
We interrupt this episode to bring you Roman. Boys, testosterone is an important part of a man's body and health. Is an important part of a man's body and health, but men's testosterone starts to deplete with age, which is why it's important you start to support it early. Signs of low T can include a decline in energy and stamina, weight gain, hair loss, low sex drive, and not having that morning wood right when you wake up in the morning. That is actually the best. If you want to know if you're going low on T, that is the best measuring stick. No pun intended. That is there you go. That's the best measuring stick of knowing if your T is deteriorating. Roman's testosterone support supplements were designed by real doctors to help men maintain their body's natural testosterone production. The daily supplement includes 6 nutrients to help support testosterone levels, bone health, and muscle development. Who wouldn't want to have the proper levels of testosterone in their body? Who wouldn't? Nobody. Go to getroman.com/bussinboys to get $15 off your first order of Roman T support. That's getroman.com/bussinboys to get your first order of Roman T support. Sorry, they were repeating me down there and I didn't want to go into the bold, you know what I mean? But again, that's getroman.com/bussinboys, guys. This is a natural way to support and maintain your T levels. Go check the boys out, try them, and you get $15 off your first order. getroman.com/bussinboys. Back to the episode. Do you feel like you have that same, and I know it's not, do you not feel like you have that same ability? Because, I mean, he's awesome. You could probably talk to him in the same way. But I know listening to your podcast on The Pivot, you talked about developing yourself vocally,
Right.
being more comfortable within your personality.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're developing that more now? Like, do you feel more confident with yourself and your personality? Do you feel like you can speak to DC the same way DC speaks to you, in a way that, you know, guys that are receiving it on the other end aren't like, because you said it yourself, you're like, guys know I'm not like getting in my feelings. Is it a thing to where you just don't know if guys do, so you kind of like, you don't want to step on nobody's toes? Or do you feel like you've grown in that aspect this off season?
Yeah. I feel like I've grown just having tough conversations with people in general, whatever it be, because usually like before I was just like timid and didn't want to have those conversations. And I was like, you know, always the guy that was getting suspended and stuff. So I would just kind of be like in the room, like quiet in the back and not say anything. So if I said something, they'd be like, you the motherfucker that was, you know, doing all that
What the fuck
shit.
you talking about, man?
Shut the fuck up, man. So that's the kind of shit that's going through my mind. So I just like won't say nothing. Or it was like, there's something that I feel like I want to say. I'm like, man, like I could still be in that mindset, but I had to realize like, that's not who I am anymore. And I deserve to have a voice because I'm not somebody that's here just trying to take for myself. Like I actually care about the goodness of the team and the collective. So anything that I say is going towards that. So I don't need to like just trip in my mind.
Are there things that have happened that have allowed you to get over that hump, or steps that you've made, or anything that you've like studied on your own that's made you feel more comfortable other than just being like, you know, now I'm Darren Waller, I feel like I've put up, you know, the accolades and the stats now to say it. Like, are there things that have happened for you that's been like, I need to get out of my own fucking head and have this conversation, because a conversation delayed is like conflict multiplied. So I just need to have this thing before it like snowballs into something worse.
You just said something right there. So
I appreciate that.
yeah, but I mean, it's just like the men that are like mentors in my life, just constantly like, you know, that you have to have the tough conversations. It's just like the character building that comes from that, because you not having that conversation is essentially selfish, because, you know, you could be saying something that could, and bringing honesty to the table for somebody else, helping them see something differently. But instead, you don't want to have that confrontation. So you're keeping them in the dark. And then you're also, you know, letting that build up inside yourself. So it's like, I have to go through with it. And then when you go through with it, you feel better about yourself, and you can go grow confidence, because you're like, I'm not shying away from what's difficult. I'm actually going towards it.
And you realize it's not as bad as what you probably
Yeah,
bring
and
up
it's
in your
never as
mind.
bad. It's like, damn, why the fuck was I tripping about that?
Yeah. Do you feel like you've been able to build that just with McDaniels coming in and like talking with Foster and Amir and guys that have spoken highly of him, and
Yeah.
reading the things that you've said about him, about the process and the details, and probably being very open about talking about the offense? Foster says the entire offense is in there getting coached up, and
Right.
guys are hearing different messaging. Do you feel like a lot of that stuff has allowed you to bring up your own conversations, and guys are just a lot more open when speaking with each other?
Yeah, it's just a real environment. And then they come in and they're like, hey, the more you do and the more that you earn, the more that you'll get. Like,
Right.
that's how it is.
What do you feel like Coach McDaniels has done? Like the differences that you've seen, like just coming in and implementing his process-oriented Patriot way, like playing for Coach Vrabel. I was talking with Foster on a couple things that Vrabel did, because Vrabel was with Belichick. McDaniels has been with Belichick forever. Like, what are some things that have really like stood out to you that's like helped you be like, oh, this is that dude?
Yeah. I mean, at first it's like, if you put ego to the side, like he's sending people on laps. Like if you cause a penalty, or if you jump off sides, or if
Right.
you, yeah, like you running. Like,
Yeah.
and it's like, it's not nothing personal. He's not trying to make you look bad, but it's like, he wants you to like, because it's gonna penalize you. It's gonna penalize everybody on game day. So he wants you to like, you got to feel that, like, to know where it's like, all right, you run that lap and it's 100 degrees at training camp. You're like, oh no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not doing that shit no more.
Yeah.
Like, so it's things like that. And then, I mean, just different ways of installing plays. Like there'll be like, they'll have a big screen up in the indoor, and we'll like walk through it. Because a lot of guys, you know, you sit in that chair taking them notes, you start fading.
Yeah, those off.
So it's like he'll mix it up and have all kind of different tapes and cut ups and things like that. So it's like by the time you go on the field and a walkthrough, it's like, if you don't know it, it's because you intently didn't put time in to retain that shit, because it's like there's plenty of resources there.
And it stands out that you're not like putting the time in.
Right.
How exciting is it to have fucking Devontae Adams added to the squad and Chandler
I
Jones?
don't think anybody would be mad at those pickups, you know, just
Bro, Hunter Renfro gets re-upped. Like, y'all got a little squad, man.
yeah.
Are you excited?
Yeah. It should be explosive for sure. You know,
Do you have like certain goals for yourself, like individually? Are you a big goal guy? Because I when I was listening to your conversation with the fellas on the pivot, you talked about like journaling a lot and not necessarily having like specific goals for a day or a week or something like that. Like, are you a big goal guy? Or are you more of like, you spoke on being in tune more with principles?
Yeah. I just move by principles, because like certain goals, like maybe a lot of guys said, are results based, and it's like I feel like no matter what I may put in, no matter how much I may give, like those results may not happen. Like I really don't have that much control over what the end result looks like. But for me, I know I can control like what preparation looks like, what effort looks like, and what my attitude looks like. And with those three things, I have those hitting on, you know, the level that they should be on. I feel like the results will take care of themselves, because I could go out there and be like, oh yeah, 1,500 yards. And then I can have 1,349 yards and be like, it was a failure. And it's like, I don't think that that's, you know, conductive towards just my peace of mind and how I live my life. You know, I'll just, you know, I can live with the results as long as, like I said, I'm prepared and I have good effort and my attitude is there, and just keep it as simple as that, and just enjoy the people that I'm playing the game with, and just let that take care of itself.
Yeah. Do you feel like that's hard at times?
Yeah.
Like last year, for instance, like, you know, you were 1,000-yard cat up until you got injured last year.
Right.
You landed like shy of 700 last year, but with 5 weeks of playing, like you probably like, if you're a guy who has a goal of like, I'm going to have 1,000 yards like every year, and you don't make that last year because you're injured. Like,
Right.
is when stuff like that happens, is it hard to where you have to like lean into that process oriented mindset that you created for yourself, or has it become so natural to where you really just weren't tripping off that?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. Last year, I feel like if there's a season that I learned the most from, it was just with life. It was last year,
Really?
just because there's certain points of the year. It's like you get the beginning of the year in that first game against Baltimore, where it was just like I think I had like 19 targets in the game,
Oh
and
yeah,
then
you
it's
was on my
like,
fantasy team.
and then it's
I was
like,
there.
and then there's you go through like halfway point of the season. There's like probably like 4 games or so where I only had like 5 targets, and so then it's kind of like it's like you're up here and then you kind of down, and then it's like I had this point where we played like Cincinnati and I had 100-something yards. I felt like I was heating up, and I was going to that Dallas game, and I was like, I felt like I was gonna go crazy that day, and I had a couple catches early on, but then I got my knee rolled up, and then I was like, dang, I was out for 6 weeks, and then after those 6 weeks, the first practice I was supposed to be back, I got COVID that morning and was just like,
Oh yeah,
sick
that
as-
was when
sick as a
everybody was
dog.
getting it. Yeah.
And so it's just like all those things kind of forced me to sit still and be like, not base my self-worth off of my performance.
Well, what point of the year made it difficult to where you like learned the most about yourself? Or was it that combination of all of it? Because you guys obviously went through a lot of like turmoil with Gruden and Ruggs and your injury and a lot of
Right.
stuff happening, like the wave, the roller coaster of 19 catches and then a few catches or whatever the case may be, targets.
Yeah.
What do you feel like? What was the moment where you feel like you really had to check yourself?
Um, it was all that. It was moments where in the games where I'd have 5 targets because it's like, it's still an industry where it's like, your stats provide your value. And I feel like, I'm somebody that should have 10 a game, but it's
Mhm.
like, you gotta swallow your pride and realize it's team oriented and we're winning these games. And so it's like, what's really more important here? Is it me getting mine, or is it, being a part of something that's great and that's developing and that's building? So it's like, really checking your ego and like what your intentions are there. And then even when I was injured, it was just like, man, like, having these, bro, I'm a drug addict at the end of the day. So I'm having these like wild ass thoughts. Like that's just the disease I have. I'm like, oh man, these motherfuckers don't need me. They went in and I'm out. Like, so it's like checking those thoughts and realizing it's like, it shouldn't be based off of, what's going on. And like, just because I'm out of the picture, it should be, supporting this team and stay committed to this team and realizing that, I can provide value in ways where it's just not my performance or my stat line week to week, or people seeing me as, oh, top fantasy, this and that. It's just like, no, I can still be there. I can still be a leader. It's just finding a way to do that, even though I'm not out there necessarily doing it. I can still provide value to this team and just always think about what I can give rather than what I can get. And I feel like those lessons were really kind of ingrained in me last year.
You said a lot right there. All right, we interrupt this episode to bring you the boys at Duke Cannon. No free shout outs to Duke Cannon. Their deodorant is made for guys who run hot. Listen, I'm going to let you in on a little bit of my personal journey with deodorant. Today, I didn't have access to my Duke Cannon. I was on the move, so I had to use somebody else's after my workout this morning. And this is exactly what happens when you don't use Duke Cannon dry ice.
Oh,
I know you guys are looking at my arms, but try not to look at my arms and notice the underarm sweat that does not occur when you use dry ice. And if it does, it'll just be a little bit. The guys who sweat, you guys know what I'm talking about, to where if you have a good quality product, it'll just be like a strip or two because it's trying to protect you as much as possible. That's because dry ice, it feels like, we say it all the time, but you have little AC units sitting right under your armpits throughout the entire day. You almost feel like you're sweating because it gets so chilly under there at times, and it kind of confuses you. Another favorite of mine is their big ass brick of soap. The boy Taylor was just shouting it out on Instagram. He's got it hanging up in his locker. A lot of the boys around the league are using their big ass brick of soap with the scrubber because it has a little scrubber case to use when you're around all the boys in the shower scrubbing your little boys. They also have hair wash, hair styling, beard care. They have all this shit. Go check out Duke Cannon at any Target or on dukecannon.com and use code BUSSIN, BUSSIN, for 15% off your first order. That's dukecannon.com and using code BUSSIN for 15% off your first order, or check the boys out at any Target nearby. Back to the episode. I hope you guys are enjoying it so much. I do want to say though, like the whole addict thing, like you're going on 5 years, bro.
Yeah.
Like you you might use that as like a chip on your shoulder, but you're also like not that anymore. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I feel like that could be like a defense mechanism just to say that
Right.
and to like create like an anchor or a foundation for people sitting around you and listening. But I feel like everything that you've been doing these last 5 years, like that's also not you anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I will say now, I'll say like this episode's going to drop on Wednesday. It's going to be August 10th, which August 11th is the anniversary, correct?
Right.
So we'll have 5 years of sobriety for Darren Waller on August 11th. So when everybody's listening to this tomorrow,
August 11th was the last day that I used. August 12th is my like clean date.
okay. So
Yeah.
August 12th is a clean date. So which date are we going with? 12th?
12th.
So when you're listening to this on the 10th, it's Wednesday right now. On Friday, we'll be in the midst of training camp, or Darren will be in the midst of training camp. My man will be 5 years sober. That's a big one, boys.
Appreciate it.
Bro, what do you feel like? Here, I want to rattle some stuff off for you because I actually wrote this down.
Your host is prepared, everyone.
Yeah. So since then, bro, and this is both within the confines of the NFL, but on the field and off the field. But 3,000 plus yards. You've been a Pro Bowler, a 2-time NFL Top 100 player, Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee, and Pop Warner Youth Award. The Pop Warner Interaction Youth Award. Like, you were OD'd.
Yeah.
And the way you explained it, like an Xbox being unplugged, the TV being unplugged, like rock bottom, working at Sprouts for $11 an hour.
Right.
And now you've accomplished these things in the last 5 years. Like, what do you think about when you think of your 5 years of sobriety? Like, what do you look back on? Like, what are you proud of? Like, I think that's major, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
people look up to you. Like,
It's still hard for me to comprehend that sometimes. And it's just like, even when people like will see me and be like, oh, that's Darren Waller. I'm just like, why? Like, why are you? Because I'm, I don't know. I still feel like I'm just like, the same.
because you're
guy,
like,
you
it's you walk around as the football player, Darren Waller, which
Right.
obviously you're a fucking monster, but like everything you've overcome in these last 5 years, like you mean so much more to people than just football.
Right.
Like personally, I look up to you. I watch you walk around all the fellas yesterday and everything else, and you're like, yo, that dude, like people are like proud of you. And people are like fired up. And then when you speak, people listen because you've done so much to work on yourself like since then.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I want you to talk about what you think about, like when you think of this stuff. Like when you look back, like, man, when you reflect, when you journal, when you have gratitude, like what are things you look back on and you're like proud of Darren Waller?
I think I'm proud of the fact that I made it a habit to seek routes in my life that were uncomfortable. Like it was uncomfortable to go to rehab. It was uncomfortable to, go to meetings. It was uncomfortable to work at Sprouts and work for the salary that I was working for, especially from the salary that I was coming from, and just like all the humbling experiences that came from that. Even just training to get back to getting reinstated. There wasn't really like a defined thing to work towards. It was just like, I'm going to work and hope that I get a chance, but there's no chance guaranteed here. So I'm just going to work just to work. And then, just working on like mindfulness and things like that, just staying present to the moment really helped, and not tripping too much about the future. But yeah, I mean, and then not necessarily getting too high and too low with the cards that I was dealt. I got reinstated, but then I got cut and I was on practice squad, and it was like, I knew they were going to kind of hide me, and because nobody was going to touch me with my track record at the time. But I was able, and I had the skills to choose a positive attitude and be like, well, I can just, this is me. I'm being hidden for a reason. Like, I feel like God isn't giving me these things right away because my character still has to develop to be able to hold up a certain level of success. Because if it was given to me, if the level of success I have now was given to me in 2016, it would be a car wreck. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so, I don't know, just staying with the process and not being necessarily worried about when things would happen, but just, staying in the work and focusing on, like I said, like my character development as opposed to when certain results would come my way. And then it's like, you kind of look up along the way and like the results are coming, and it's like, okay, but like a lot of people put their feet up and kick their feet up when good things start happening. But for me, it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like if I kick my feet up, like there's a lot of dark shit I could go back to if I start getting comfortable. So it's just like, you know, staying in that discomfort.
What are like I just I know that's tough for everybody just to create like that type of like diligence in their life. What are a couple things that you like, I guess, hang your hat on when you look back? Not hang your hat on, but really attest things to. Is it like creating a routine and having mentors or certain therapies in your life? Because that shit is hard to do,
Right.
especially when you come from like I can only imagine what like an addiction mindset is, but everybody, especially in America, like it's all about chasing the next thing and being on this hamster wheel of success.
Right.
And you always talk about slowing down, like not worrying about results. Like I know that takes a lot of like diligence to like cultivate that. Like, what are a couple things that you would say or attest to that you're like, man, these are a couple things I have to have no matter what, that's going to continue to allow me to have this mentality about it? Is it therapy? Is it mentors? Is it routine? Is it structure? Like, what are those things?
Yeah. My guy Donnie would call it non-negotiables. In the morning, it's like, you know, meditation and prayer. It's journaling. It's having a therapist. For me, it's going to meetings. Like I went to a meeting last night as opposed to riding I don't know, whatever the shit they were on last night.
They did the pedal thing down in Broadway.
Yeah, I got connected, and this old dude, shout out to Steve, came pick me up. Went to a meeting. Like
What kind of meeting?
like a 12-step meeting.
Damn, man.
Yeah, at just like an Episcopal church.
And you found him through somebody else, or you found him through?
It's a dude that I'm like an OG that I'm connected to. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be in Nashville for a meeting. He's like, I know just a guy, and so I went with him, and it's like, you know, going to meetings regularly and having a community of people in the meeting environment, and so I can have those people like outside of football, so I can go there and just like, you know, be able to focus on the human being. Is reading books, you know, making music does a lot for me as far as, you know, filling my cup up. So it's making sure all those things are all in the mix.
You still making beats like that?
Yeah. Told you I was making one this morning.
Man, hey, we need one.
It's funny, bro. I made so
we don't have one.
I forget about beats all the time. Like I'll make them and like I won't pattern them out. I won't finish them, right? And so the other day, I think maybe been like a week ago, I found this beat and it was called R.I.P. Miss Compton. I made it the day that I think the news hit that your mom passed. And so I was like making this beat and I ended up going back and finishing it like a few days ago. And I was like, like it was just weird.
I appreciate that, man. You're going to get me emotional right now.
Yeah, man.
No, that's awesome. Oh, here we go again, boys.
How do you agree with that? Because my best friend's mom died like 3 years ago, and she died from alcoholism, and he's sober now. Like his mom basically drank herself to death.
Yeah,
and it's like, and he's like, I don't know if that ever really gets better because he's always like, man, like,
no, man, it never like gets better. I mean, it gets like, I guess, easier to cope with, but it's just hard, bro. It's just like, you know, it's one of those things where somebody that you just, my bad, man.
no, bro.
I know it's all good to cry
Good.
too. It just like you just get this
Yeah.
silence. You know, just like life happens quick, bro. And when we were traveling to Cleveland and when it all happened and went down, it was just like a blood clot. And it's just over. And this is it's just like, you know, people who are close with their parents, or you talk about your best friend, or thinking of somebody enough to like, yo, I made this beat. And you know, somebody like super important just leaves and there's no like cause or anything else. Yeah, I don't know how I like grieve with it other than like feel these emotions.
Right. That's what I feel like. We talk about like over the last 5 years for my journey. It's like the best thing for me is like feeling everything, you know, because the foundation of like addiction is like I don't like the way that I feel right now, so I'm trying to change it as quick as possible.
Yeah.
But realizing in feeling what you feel is when you learn the most, like, and you really truly experience life. You know, life ain't supposed to be all, you know, great and everything. Like there's loss, like there's pain and stuff like that. But it's like if I try to blot out all the pain and everything, then it's like I don't really have a realistic scale for what's good or not. And so everything kind of just gets numbed out. So it's like there's no way
man,
around
and
shit.
it's hard too because like being emotional in front of people's hard. Like it's one of the emotions like you wish you can just get away from.
Right.
But you know it's not like you know it's important and you know it's not as big of a deal as you feel like it is like when it's happening. It's just hard, bro. Like I was a mama's boy. And there wasn't like signs of anything happening. Like she was like my accountant. She did everything. Like she would drive 16 hours to move me from house to house and drive by herself because it didn't bother her. Like she would do everything for her boys. And that's just hard, bro.
Mom gets a free shout out for sure.
Yeah. Appreciate y'all boys.
Yeah, man.
The hardest part's definitely having a daughter now. But yeah, man, that shit's tough. You know, you like listen to music. Shout out to your song, JP, that you sent me. Guys like NF, you know who NF is?
Yeah, I got put on to him recently.
Yeah, so when you said that about your best friend and his mom died of alcoholism, like his mom died like overdosing on pills and stuff like that, and he's somebody that like his lyrics grab from like a deep part of him that I'll sit there and like listen to. But it's not easy and it never will be. And I've had a lot of people help me, like give me things like Mike, who came on. He had a big message to me when it had happened that like really resonated with me on mastering yourself. And there's always a little kid in you that wants mom or dad when something goes wrong. And yeah, man, like there's I don't have an answer if somebody does. Like I'm all ears for it, but
I wasn't expecting you to.
it's like feeling the emotions, man. Like it sucks because you get pissed off when you think about it too much because it's like the why question and everything else, but
Right.
you realize you can't live in it that long because how would that person want you to be living right now? And they didn't raise you to not fold. I'm not saying like people who go through it, everybody grieves in their own way, but in my mind, I'm like, my mom didn't raise me to fold in times where you don't feel like you want to do shit. Or you just want to sit in your feelings and like tell everybody else to fuck off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I'll gather myself here fully in a minute.
No, good.
No, but I appreciate you saying that. And I feel like it brings up emotion too, because all of you guys were really like there for me when you're playing a game. And, you know, I would have dudes coming up. Solomon Thomas was somebody that I think about that. I like did
solid dude.
solid. Yeah. Solid dude. And everybody was like this. I'm just saying Solomon, but you come back in the facility after that like week long of going to the funeral and everything else, and you're playing a game, like you're playing a performance-based game where I'm even at the funeral and everything else, and you're kind of wondering like, man, I'm talking with Coach Pasacci. He was so good to me. Mayock, The organization was so good to me during that time. And you have the anxiety of like, I need to get back soon, or like I had just gotten there.
Right.
And if I put 2 games of not being there, like they don't have any reason to like keep me.
Right.
Or you just have those anxieties built up because we like live in this performance-based world
Right.
throughout our entire life with it. It's our career.
Yeah.
And when I got back, everybody like messages like, man, Zay Jones saying something after a game. Like I saw everything. And the team just was so fucking cool to me about it. Not that people aren't going to be like good to you about it, but I just felt like when I got there, like Solomon's like hugging me, and I had barely known this dude. Like teammates that I barely knew are like coming up to me, like, and you feel like they're really there in front of you. They're not just like saying like, "Hey, I'm sorry about your loss, man." Like you like feel like they're in front of you and they're like listening to you.
Right.
So it just brought up that kind of emotion. Now a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. No free shout outs to the boys at BetterHelp. How well would you take care of your car if you had to keep the same one your entire life? That's how our brains work. So why don't we treat them that way? How we care for our minds affects how we experience life. So it's important to invest time and care into keeping them healthy. There are plenty of ways to support a healthy brain, like learning a new language or taking power naps. There's also BetterHelp online therapy. What better pod for them to sponsor than the one you're listening to right now with Darren Waller, where he talks about therapy. He talks about his AA classes, having a mentor, checking in with himself. I am a big believer. My wife and I, we did premarital counseling. We continue to do couples therapy, but BetterHelp is online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat only therapy sessions. So you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy. You can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Our listeners are getting 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/bussin. That's betterhelp.com/bussin. Guys, use this resource if you're even thinking about it. Why not give them a shot and sit there and learn a little bit more about yourself and help tackle whatever problems that you think are in your life? Seriously, use this resource, betterhelp.com/bussin. Now back to the episode. But yeah, to pivot off that, we are looking for beats. All busting with the boys. And again, man, I do appreciate you bringing that up. That was like, anytime that happens, I know it just gets really quiet around me.
No,
And we're on camera and like lights are on and stuff. And like, I hate, like as men, you hate being emotional as it is. And it's just like, you feel like it's tough to navigate. And for me, like when I feel like I'm in that emotion, it's hard for me to like crawl out of it. Cause I'm like, you just kind of want to sit here and cry harder.
Yeah.
But then you keep yourself from crying harder. And so then I just start talking and you feel it like in your voice and you just know like,
Right.
it's just shitty, dude. And there's really no like perfect way to like cope with everything, but shout out moms, man.
Oh yeah.
Shout out moms everywhere.
Always.
But I did want to ask, like, as you're kind of talking through like all the development that you've been going through, are there certain philosophies you lean into more than others, or authors that you enjoy not more than others, or that you like cling towards, or books that you've read recently that you would shout out or like put people on, or like, hey, this type of stuff really helps me?
Oh man, yeah. There's a book I read not too long ago. It's called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, and it's a pastor. His name's John Mark Comer. Amazing author. Just the way he breaks shit down, and that book was basically just saying how like the spirit of hurry is like the opposite of like a spiritual life, because like we hurry from thing to thing, or like we got to get this done, or we got to get to this next thing, or get to this next relationship or level up or whatever. And it's like we don't take time to just sit and just be and like reflect and pray and just create that time. That's where it's like I really started owning like going on trips by myself. And he talks about taking a day sometimes to just be by yourself, or like taking a day to like say no words, like, and just like be in silence. And it's just like things like that to just get you to slow down. And and like there's this last chapter of the book where he recommends things to do, and he's like, he recommends driving in the speed limit, doing the speed limit, and being like in the slow lane, or like seeking out the longest line in the grocery store and standing in it and forcing yourself to wait and forcing yourself to like develop patience and to not like get things exactly when you want them, but to just like slow down and not be trying to hustle and bustle and move so fast and just like, create this own pace or whatever the pace that, God wants you to move at is what you can own. And it's like, I really took from that because it's like, especially in the football industry, it's like bam, 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 bam. And it's
yeah.
you start to see like your coaches like mental health, they're just like shot and they're just like,
yeah.
like just strung out. And it's like all these guys are and they're just like so anxious all the time.
And everything's so regimented. Like when you get done with practice, you want to go and do your movement work, your prep work, your recovery stuff.
Right.
I got to go make this appointment, that appointment. Do you do these practices?
Yeah.
Like what are a couple that you've done yourself?
I mean, after seeing it, it's like I can't unsee. Like sometimes I do the speed limit one, sometimes I don't.
Is it hard?
Yeah, I'm not even gonna get on here and cap. Like sometimes I'll do it because like there's a lot of times, like you said, everything's so regimented. And like my schedule's like one thing to the next, And it's like I may have to like put the foot on the gas to get there on time. You
Everyone
know?
speeds like you ain't. Yeah.
But when I have the opportunity to do it, I will. And it's like whenever I go, like I'm in Trader Joe's, I'm like, no, I gotta like get that longest line. I just get in that line and just like, like pray in my head or just like just breathe, like, and just like create time to just like connect to my breath and just be in my body. Because just a lot of times I can just be like, think about what I'm doing like 3 weeks from now, or
Yeah.
shit like that, and it's just like those things aren't really serving me in the moment. So
Have you done the day without speaking?
Nah, I haven't, but I've done where it's like I'm going places and he says recommends like doing 24 hours in silence, like whether it be like once every few months or like however often you can do it depending on like your circumstances. And so it's like that's why I'm taking these trips. Like I went to Lake Tahoe last week, Wednesday to Friday, and I was there by myself. And
You're just there by yourself.
yeah.
What are these trips by yourself like?
So I got there. We recorded a podcast as soon as I got there. And then after that, I went right across the street from my hotel. It was like this beach. And you look over the lake and it's like the mountains. That just looks like the ocean with like mountains around it. It's fire. And I just, got some food. I'm sitting out there, smoked a cigar. And
Ooh, I love
just
that.
went to my room, made a beat, went to sleep. And then the next day I got up early, got on a Peloton, and then just kicked it. And then I got this dude to take me on a tour of Lake Tahoe, like all around the lake. It was like an all day thing, like 6 hours or something. And just seeing the different spots and just walking around, taking pictures and just taking in all the scenery. And, so it's just ways for me to slow down and just be there. Cause it's like, you come from OTAs and mini camp and it's just like ding, 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 all these little things. And it's just like any opportunities I can create, whether it be a few minutes in my day or I get a few days to go somewhere like that. Like it's just nourishing for the spirit.
Damn, man. So you recommend it?
Yeah, for sure.
Like going on trips by yourself is fire.
Yeah, people gotta get more comfortable.
Shout out, no free shout out right there.
People gotta get more comfortable just being by themselves,
Yeah.
Because like then, because I recognize that in like relationships with women, it's like you get to a point where it's like you kind of need them to validate you, or you need them there to feel their love. But it's like, man, you got to come to that relationship with your cup full, like loving yourself, and then it's like y'all two can basically like link up there, and already with love there, so it doesn't become like a codependent relationship,
Yeah.
And that's how toxic shit happens, and that's been my relationships for a while, So it's just like opportunities like that, like taking those trips and being with yourself and not distracting yourself from what you're thinking, but really just being there and feeling what you feel and stuff like that. Like it goes a long way and it translates to the rest of your life.
Is Darren Waller, is something we can talk about? Are you a single man? You got a relationship going on? I feel like you were kind of alluding to.
Recently, like coming up on like 3 weeks, like
Okay.
infant phase.
3-week anniversary.
Infant phase.
Yeah. You got her a gift? Yeah. Hey, Lake Tahoe.
A souvenir?
Yeah.
Nah,
yeah.
no souvenirs.
Oh man. You guys got anything for Darren? What tier talk should we do? Just somebody, one of you guys have some? Blas?
Like young tight end that's out there at tight end you that you're like, oh, like this kid should be put on some guys' radars.
Young sleeper tight end.
Yeah, I mean, you're around
sleeper
all of
tight
them,
end.
bro.
I'm always putting Foster at the top of the list, bro. Like this is gonna be my last year playing with Foster.
Why you say that?
He's a starting tight end. Like
You got the McDaniels offense, bro. I'm talking.
yeah, but I mean, it's like
Gronk, Aaron
it's
Hernandez.
his contract up after this year.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
was trying to get it out of him.
That's why I say like
Yeah.
it's probably gonna be my last year because I feel like somebody going to offer him and see like you saw when he was in there last year, like, and then like just the plays that he's made over the years, like he made some freaky things happen, and it's like he's a starting tight end, bro.
He's about ball too. That dude loves ball.
Yeah, he be coaching like he's like legit like a coach on the field, like slick. Like he be telling other people like responsibilities. Like somebody's out there like this, he's like, man, you got this, you got this. And like
Really?
he would coach me up, be like, hey man, don't forget to like do that on your stem. Like yesterday, there was a route ran. He's like,
Yeah.
man, don't forget to like break your stem up and come back down. I was like, damn, you right, bro. Like, yeah. So definitely Foster. Man, all those dudes are good, man. To be real. Yeah, it's tough, man.
What year are you going into?
Year 7.
How do you stay in love with like the game and the process of it and everything else? Because I'm sure there were probably times when you were going through your sobriety work where you weren't in love with the game, and then you fell back in love with it. But the monotony of the work, again, how diligent you have to be, and like all the processes that goes into being a professional athlete. How do you stay in love with the game?
I would say, I mean, just watching like dudes like YouTube highlight mixes, like when I was a kid, you know, shit like that.
Yeah.
Like watching dudes go crazy. I'm just like, man, yeah, like that's the shit like that we love, you know. And then
Yeah,
kind of like I talked to you about like when I'm like reflecting and journaling and stuff like that. It's, you know, when I'm out there and like I feel like I have something to give to the team, you know, then I can just, you know, I get lost in the moments of just like being out there and like laughing with dudes and like, you know, they playing music at practice and you get hyped to that, and it's just like welcoming like the competitive spirit of like the 1-on-1s and 7-on-7 periods, and just like, you know, start catching a few balls and just being present, just like reminding myself every day of why I enjoy being out here, like, and just like, you know, meditating on like when I was a kid and how much, you know, joy it brought me, and realizing that joy goes away only when I like give it away or when I allow somebody to take it.
yeah.
If I stay mindful of it and, you know, keep that on my mind when I'm going through individual drills and stuff like that, because it's easy to just shift the perspective to like, fuck, I got this. But it's like, it's that old like got to versus get to mindset. And it's like all that cliche shit people was telling us, like if you really implement
No
that
question.
shit, them shits
No question.
are money.
Do you feel like who's the defender that has had your number when guarding you 1-on-1?
I can't really go with having my one person having my number.
Who's one person who maybe thinks they have your number?
I don't know. I mean, I know I always give big respect to Derwin James because we always go like back and forth. Like I'll win some reps, he'll win some reps. But that's probably the most even matchup. Most teams like throw a lot of different people at me. Like there's not really just like one person that's just like following me around. So I mean, there's one game like we played the Dolphins and Byron Jones followed me around, and that I enjoyed that matchup. That was like I got him a few times and he was on me a couple times, but there's not like one person where I was just like, I don't feel like he just won the matchup. I can't say that's anybody.
Is there a linebacker out there that
Absolutely not.
that you would give respect to, that you see and you're like, I mean, he's got a little more to him than the majority of these boys out here?
Oh, it's a lot of good. I thought you were about to ask like a linebacker covering me.
That's what I am asking.
No.
You see a linebacker on you, excluding myself. Like you see a linebacker on you, you're like, all right, I'm gonna give this boy more props than everybody else in the league.
I mean, I don't even really see linebackers. It must be if it's like a zone, then it's like a linebacker's in that zone. But man to man, I can't tell you the last time a linebacker guarded me man to man. That's just how defenses approach the situation.
And you're saying there's no linebacker out there that can hold you.
That's what I'm saying.
What about safety?
Very few. I put like going toe to toe like Derwin James, Justin Simmons, Minka Fitzpatrick is usually in the post. Like when we played the Steelers, it was just like a gang of people around me, like everywhere I was going, you know? So it's like, I don't know, they're not really putting these people on islands to play man to man like that. And if they are, it'll be like the Dolphins did. Like it'll be like their corner or like your best coverage defender. But then it's like you throw Tay in the mix, they can't really.
I was gonna say now it's gonna be hard to do because, bro, and not only that, but there's like specific roles within all that talent as well.
Right.
Like you got, I mean, on third down between you and Hunter, and now you're adding Devontae Adams in the mix.
Right.
Not to sleep on like Josh Jacobs in the fucking backfield.
That's what I was
Cover
about
all
to
them
say. That's what I was
motherfuckers
about to say. It's
and
like
just dunk it down to
I
Josh.
feel like they're gonna have to be like, well, shit, how are we gonna play man? Right?
Yeah.
You can't do that. So they're gonna,
The most
so
you
it's
can
gonna be
do
a lot
is-
of zone.
Yeah, the most you can do is what double the stars, where you just try to pick out two guys that you want to double. But which two are you
Right.
doubling? Because everybody else is on an
It's like,
island,
okay.
and there's nobody deep.
All right, we're gonna back off and play zone. Then Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, and it's like you have to give up what pass rush because you're gonna want your ends to try and hit you or jam you, or hit people at the line of scrimmage. It's gonna be interesting, man. In what way?
And like getting the ball. You know, there's obviously so much talent on the field.
Oh yeah,
One
good
ball.
question.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like that's one thing that the Raiders have done, right? Like you, for instance, you're established. You know what you are. You're
Right.
comfortable with that. Devontae Adams has had success elsewhere. Josh Jacobs has had success. I think the Raiders have done a good job in bringing those guys in because they're comfortable with themselves. So I personally don't think it would be an issue, but
Right.
you being in the locker room, do you foresee, you know, that being an issue?
Just for the personality guys, I don't think so. You know, I came from Georgia Tech where I had 51 catches in 4 years. So it's like I know what it's like to have little. I know what it's like to have a lot, you know? So it's just like,
But I think too, listening to you talk about how you handle like one game, you might get five catches or 5 targets, but you're winning those games and the way you've had to deal with that stuff mentally. Like, yeah, maybe if you guys are like neck and neck or you're losing the game, it could be like you speak to the part of you to where you want to develop that vocalizing it a little bit more. Like, hey, like, come on, DC.
yeah, I'm built for these moments.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah, where you got to say something. But also like, man, that's true. Like you guys have some like good personalities. Now I don't know Devontae at all, but him playing in college with Derek, and it seems like they have a really good relationship. He just seems like one of the guys, and we all know Hunter. Like that man's gonna go out there and eat. If you don't throw the ball, he's
Right.
gonna pat whoever that catches it on the back.
Right.
So I do feel like you guys got a good core group of guys. Man, you guys are tough, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, man.
Toughest team in the AFC West.
All of them, bro.
Yeah. He didn't fall
All
for
of
it
them,
either.
bro.
Foster's like, you're not going to get me. I said, so we can agree that y'all are the toughest team in the AFC West. He's like, no, everybody. Yeah. Should we do tier talk? Do we have a tier talk?
We got a couple
You familiar with tier talk?
No.
Come on, man.
to do.
Don't do that.
Going to do the best jerseys.
Like TIER or TEAR?
Man, an easy one would be best.
TIER.
Best tight ends, but I don't know if that's.
You tight end, rap artist, favorite.
That's true, but I feel like if we do rap, I mean, obviously I got my list out there.
Let's talk
But
about that. Let's talk about your list.
Did you ever see my top 10 rappers list?
No.
Let's get a
It
reaction.
went
It
viral.
went viral?
Yeah.
What was the list? What was the list?
Yeah, because it's pretty funny. We definitely, give us your top 5 tight ends in the league.
Me, Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Mark Andrews, Kyle Pitts.
In that order.
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts, that boy, he's a freak now.
Him.
Yeah. Yeah, that dude seems like an alien, bro.
Right.
I
Like they had the draft on and they compared him to me. I was like, I mean, that dude like where I'm at now, but he's like 21.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when I was coming out of college, bro, I wasn't on none of that.
Yeah. There's right there. There's my list.
I mean, it's like people they ask you for your top 10.
Come on
Like,
now. Talk
who,
to him.
who you rock with. Like
I would. What do you think about that top 10 list?
if that's genuinely like who you fuck with top 10, like that's cool. Like I fuck with it.
That's all I needed.
Oh yeah.
Hey, say less. Say less.
Because it's like people are like top 10, and then they say, oh, you're top 10. And it's like, oh, I'm thinking like my favorite 10. Like some people are like, oh no, man, like, no, that top 10, I gotta check that. Like,
Yeah.
top 10 of all time.
I
It's
was,
like,
I was out there getting checked.
what's the
But I was trolling. Like I knew what I was doing putting that stuff. Like Machine Gun Kelly over J. Cole.
oh yeah,
I
I know people was at your neck.
I knew I'd rile.
I know people was at your neck.
rile up the culture. Yeah, I knew I'd rile up the culture.
What
with
were
that
some,
one. Beastie
y'all
Boys
got
the
some of the
Four?
tweets that people were reply with?
Oh, bro.
Bro, how much time you got?
You want like some funny ones? You want the racist
I
ones?
want the funny ones.
That's one right there.
Just a couple.
yeah. Somebody goes, "This is white
A
nationalism
white
at work."
artist in the genre of music created. Oh yeah, they take that shit too serious. Come on, William Lloyd.
Yeah, kept by
It
black
ain't that
artists.
serious, dog.
Yeah,
It ain't
yeah.
that serious.
Yeah, somebody legitimately, and you go to their profile, you know how you come across the real political profiles, like you know they're all about politics. Somebody really put a quote and put, "This is white nationalism at work," right? Was it white nationalism?
Hey, they be taking life so seriously on Twitter.
Yes, bro.
On Twitter.
Oh man, jerseys would be a fun one. Man, I was also thinking about Gatorade flavors. Because I was smacking some Gatorade.
Gatorade flavors. I'm a red fruit punch.
Hang on, we can do Gatorade flavors. Bring up the Gatorade flavors, and then like I don't. When do y'all start early today? Don't you?
What time is it right now?
9:06.
I think the bus leaves at 9:45.
All right. I'm not trying to keep you too long. No, you got to be there.
You going over there?
We'll see. Hey, last night was a long night. Hey, and him getting up to a box at 6 motivated the boy. I got up at 6. I didn't start working out till like 6:30, but pushing the sled, hit an upper body pump, weekend pump before I got over here.
Attaboy.
I can't let this. I can't. Yeah.
What's your take on Gatorade Zero?
I don't. I mean, to be honest, I'm not the biggest. I grew out of like drinking Gatorade, like just slapping Gatorade all the time.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna go back to like yesterday. There was like G Fit. I was like, oh damn, sick. Like now I can feel like I'm drinking a healthier Gatorade. I didn't look at the ingredients, but I'm sure it has what is it, sucralose or whatever. Which isn't the best ingredient. It's kind of just like a little hidden.
It's supposed to like a bunch of fake shit in Gatorade Zero.
Yeah. So the Gatorade Zero, I don't know. Like I'm looking at those bottles, and I don't really know if I might have had it a couple times. Like in college, like I was big on doing G2 because the nutritionist was like, "Oh, this is less calories."
Right.
You know what I mean? But before that, it's usually just the original Gatorades.
That red G2 tastes like cough syrup, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. All right, boys, we bring you this ad read from one of our most trusted and favorite sponsors out there. That is Georgia Boot. Shout out Georgia Boot. No free shout outs to the boys. They've been with us basically since day one because they work just as hard as this podcast does. Georgia Boot makes super good looking and super comfortable boots. So comfortable, you never want to take them off. These boots hold up in any condition without sacrificing comfort or style. Think of it like the comfort technology of an athletic shoe that is packed into a great looking boot. My personal endorsement is that when we were at our beer Olympics over the summer, a lot of the boys that are on the Titans were asking, hey, how do we get a discount, a code, or something to shop at Georgia Boot? Because clearly they might see that we promote them, but they don't listen good enough to understand that we do have a code for you guys. Whether you're working on your feet all day, working around the house, or grilling out with the boys, these boots don't sacrifice comfort or style. Head over to georgiaboot.com and use code Bussin for 20% off. That's not 10, that's not 15, that's not 19, that's 20% off. 1/5 your order is on the house from the boys to you if you just go to georgiaboot.com and use code Bussin. That's BUSSIN for 20% off. Now back to the episode.
No, sir.
All right. We're going to go. So tier talk is essentially tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, ranking your top 3 Gatorades in order. We have a lot of like fun with this stuff. Like recently we did like video games with George Kittle. We did fast food restaurants with Michael Mayer, the kid from Notre Dame. We do like fun stuff like
tight
that.
end.
That's the tight
He
end.
looks like he eats weights. I seen him at the welcome event. I was like, who the
Bro,
fuck is that?
his neck?
He looked
He's got
like,
like a
damn,
20
who does he
neck?
look? I'm trying to think who he looks like, bro. It's like an animated character.
Johnny Bravo.
Slick, yeah.
Yeah, Johnny
A
Bravo.
big-ass- yeah.
His
Well,
hair flows. He's got the butt chin, like the
Yeah.
cartoon butt
it
chin
was like
too.
him and Tommy,
Looks like a dot. You
him
know
and
what I
Tommy
mean?
Trimble walked over to where we were at in the welcome event. I was like, y'all get out security?
Yeah. Oh shit! But give us your start at 3, work your way up to 2, and then finish with your top dog.
3 lemon lime, 2 orange, 1 is fruit punch.
That is all the classics. Now, can we go back on your 3? Say that again, and let's give a little bit more detail. Like, let's give a reason why you might love these Gatorades.
Is that like a
Yeah.
you cutting my top 3?
I'm not cutting them. You just rattled them off, and I give the people a little bit. I give them some entertainment.
I mean, lemon lime, man. I just like the way, when you drink Gatorade, your sweat turns the color that you drink, like the commercial. So,
Hey, yeah, those commercials were fire,
Nah.
bro. And lemon lime low key is nice on when you're like overheated. Yeah. There you go. Nice pull, JP.
Post workout fruit punch is different. Post practice, like I run to the locker room, I'm like, open the window, and I'm like,
So when it's hottest out, when you feel like you're at your most overheated, fruit
I
punch
can't
is
wait
what
to
you're
get
going
this
to.
red Gatorade.
Okay. What was your 2? Again, you went so fast.
Orange.
Lemon lime. See, orange. I fucking hate orange.
I've
hate
always
orange,
liked
bro.
orange flavored drinks.
Really?
I liked orange high C juice boxes when I was a kid. Orange
Soda
Remember
because
Tang?
of Keenan and Kel.
I was never really orange soda. Orange soda, grape soda, and I was never really with.
You fucked with the Tang.
Yeah, I used to be on big. I used to keep a Tang in my lunchbox in middle school.
Dog, I feel like I'm gonna go. I always do that breath too. I realize that. All right,
It's just buying time.
because I do need. I feel like I
What
need
is
a
that
I feel
green
like-
one on the
Hey,
second row?
green is
What
a
is
sleeper,
that?
bro.
No, what is that?
Yes.
What is that?
Green apple.
Hell no! I never
Come on
even
now.
You know what that cucumber.
That
flavor-
color is trash. I remember Powerade had a color. It was like green squall was the flavor. That shit was ass.
Yeah, Powerade struggled over the years, man. It's good when you make, Man, I'm gonna go with, and green is a sleeper, by the way. I'm gonna go with my tier 3. I keep seeing different colors, and I'm like, man, that is one.
Damn, that's a big ass Gatorade right there.
I'm gonna go my tier 3 is gonna be like when I'm casually, like if I were to walk into a gas station, I'm gonna grab myself a Gatorade. I'm gonna go with white.
White cherry?
Yeah.
No, that's a sleeper.
I appreciate that.
White cherry is a sleeper.
My tier 2, light blue. What is that one? Is it
Gatorade
yeah,
Frost.
Glacier Freeze?
Oh, I forgot about the frost. All the frost shit.
And I'm gonna go tier 1 just solely based off like you're fucking struggling in the heat. That lemon lime hits different, like when you are overheated. But I wouldn't get it to be casual. But when you're down bad and it's 100 degrees out there,
That's the only one I want. That's really only when I want them. I don't really want them casually.
that's what I'm saying. When you said in game, it sparked me like, yeah, that in game drink.
Yeah.
But if I'm being like casual, taste, everything else, I like white at 3 and light blue at 2. Those are mine. Anybody else want to partake in this? Anybody feel strongly about their Gatorade options? We do a back of the bus column.
I think we could really only refer to casual.
Come on now.
We don't really get in-game Gatorade.
Yeah,
Blush, you weren't out there in the thick of it out there in Afghanistan, like, and you found a Gatorade. Yeah.
We were drinking Rippets.
What is
What the fuck is
that?
that? I thought you said whippets at first.
It's like an energy drink. It's like
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds crazy.
it's crazy.
Shit got 300 milligrams.
Oh, and something else.
Shit like a
probably.
white monster.
Yeah, that's-
Good God. Like the X
Big.
Games drink, bro. But you guys, come on now. Like, just because you're not
Casually
professional
walking into
athletes, like, let's all not act like we haven't been in high school sports or even younger and we're out there just fucking. When are we going to, hey, mom, can we go to the gas station on the way home?
The Frost is mine. That was my one. When you said it was your 2, I was like, that's my one.
Yeah, no one said the blue or grape. I fuck with the grape heavy.
Well, how would you rank them?
3 would probably be orange. And then given the certain day, blue, cool blue, and grape could interchange for me. But I have to say probably grape hits number 1 for me. But also when you take it too much, it gets a little syrupy. You can only have so much. And then you're like,
I agree with
"Ah,
that,
no."
bro.
Purple.
Yeah, the fierce.
Oh, yeah, purple.
Not the G2 or this light, not this light purple one.
That's Riptide Rush. That one hits.
That one's you. That one's you.
All the frost,
He
yeah.
said- he goes.
All the
Don't
frost.
say that one.
All the frost.
Put his hand back there.
All the frost.
eliminates that kind of syrup.
Yeah. The zeros are straight.
Yeah, I'm sure they taste good, but I like when he asked that, I'm thinking like
I know people that are
zero
zero haters.
Really?
That zero nasty, bro. I can't bro. It don't taste that much different. Right.
I mean, you know how everybody is. They want to be purists. They want to be in with the originals. Them Gatorade purists, man.
Number 1, tier 1 is lemon lime in the can.
The can Gatorade hit. We got to start getting those at the facility.
Yeah.
Can Gatorade hits.
The can is different.
Can Gatorade hits.
Tier 2, Glacier Freeze, light blue. Also good during games. Tier 3, Riptide Rush. I like all like the lighter ones that you could have during games, but that aren't like G2.
Which color's the Riptide Rush?
Light purple.
Light purple. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I'm better with just saying the color.
Casual.
We were close. Hey, we were close. Matter of fact, that lemon lime can, you knew you were gonna kill it with that one, because that's detail. That's detail you want in these conversations.
Right. Okay.
Like you say, not just like lemon lime, fruit punch, orange.
My bad. Right off.
But yeah, that's that detail you want.
I think my 3, starting at 3, is going to be the blue right there next to lemon lime. 2, I don't know.
Blue next to lemon lime. No,
blue.
you're
More
going
like
with,
true
you're going
blue.
with the royal blue.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Cool. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Cool
Oh, yeah.
blue.
That's what I thought. Wait, what's the other blue?
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
What?
Hey, and the white one's not called white cherry, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Is
I
it?
thought so. I think I had one
It's a
yesterday.
Frost, something frost, isn't it?
Glacier cherry.
Glacier
Yeah.
cherry.
Okay.
All right, I'm
White.
going cool blue
Yeah, white cherry.
at 3,
Glaciers are white.
and then probably
Say the tier 2 again.
I haven't got to 2 yet.
What
3
did
is
you
the
say,
cool
3?
blue,
3 is cool blue.
and then 2 is probably whatever the light blue one is, Glacier,
Glacier
Freeze, and then number 1 is probably orange. That OG. Is that one OG or is lemon lime OG?
I don't fuck with the orange. I really don't.
What's the OG Gatorade? Is it the lemon lime or the orange one?
That was lemon lime.
Is it?
The
Gotcha.
old Florida Gatorade.
Yeah.
Florida Gator players.
Well, that's why I thought it would be orange. But yeah,
We
the
can look that up. We can
Gatorade.
fact check. We got a computer here. I don't mess with the orange, bro, and I feel like because it tastes watered down to me. Like watered down orange, like orange Gatorade tastes watered down, like a watered down
We'll
flavor
see
to
it.
me.
Don't have the G2 one then.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, to me, I feel like fruit punch is like the first flavor you go in anything you create.
Hawaiian
First body armor I had was fruit punch.
Yeah. Hey, Body Armor hits.
Yeah.
Body Armor is nice.
Yeah. I don't think there's a bad body armor flavor.
What's your favorite Body Armor flavor? Bring up the Body Armor flavors.
It don't matter.
There's a coconut one I love. Do you like the
Fruit
coconut one?
punch. Yeah, it's like coconut pineapple. Yeah. Fruit punch, strawberry banana, orange mango, blackout berry.
Yeah. Blackout Berry is a really good one. I
yeah.
fucking love that
I think
one.
there's like a pomegranate one.
That black bottle is, I think that Blackout
Berry
Berry.
lemonade hits. Yeah. them just-
Yeah, Body Armor crushes it. They used to be a sponsor of this podcast. I don't know, for maybe a couple.
They do, man.
I don't know what happened. Maybe we weren't pushing product like that. But dude, I appreciate you coming on. You need a ride?
Sure.
I give you a ride. When is the bus is getting towed It's been a week, boys.
Shit getting repoed.
We're getting towed to
Y'all trying to keep the lights on.
we're getting towed to the infield of the NASCAR race that's coming to town.
Is
Oh,
the race
shit.
in Lebanon? Or is it? Oh, okay. Someone
NASCAR races, I heard they crazy.
It might be
NASCAR races are crazy, bro. They're fun. They're cool.
I've never been to one.
There's like all these tailgates that go on outside of it. Like it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then the race itself, like everybody's just getting, everybody's just having the most fun, getting drunk, yelling. Like, I mean, you're only just going in circles around the track, right? But everybody loves it. Yeah, making left turns, man. But yeah, we get to go do like shoot like content and be on the infield and like get like a tour of everything in the NASCAR world. So we get that till today. But I appreciate you for coming on, man. Good luck this year.
Appreciate it.
Subscribe, YouTube, Apple, Spotify. Where else can you get us? What is it? Google Play? Wherever you get your podcasts, subscribe to the boys, leave comments. Darren Waller, in 2 days, 5-year anniversary of sobriety. I'm fired up for you, bro. I hope you have a fucking hell of a year. And I'm pulling for the Raiders.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks for coming on. Big hugs, tiny kisses. Again, subscribe to the boys.
Sir.